Hey there, beautiful people. It's Dina bringing another daily dose. Have you ever felt so tired, like from the inside, core of who you are, you're just tired, inside and out? You could be sleepy tired, you could be physically tired, you could be emotionally tired. And we all know that we need physical rest. If our bodies are fatigued or just exhausted, we need physical rest. But how often do we realize that we need mental rest and spiritual rest as well? So that's really what I wanted to talk to you about today. As I've been sharing with you that there's a transition that God is doing in my life. And so maybe there's somebody else that can relate to that. And you're going from one season to the next, and it feels like a transition. And sometimes those seasons can be very exhausting. It can be exhausting physically because maybe, let's say, you went from being, a stay-at-home mom and now you're trying to build a business. So you're trying to do all the mom responsibilities and wife responsibilities and everything you did. And you're also trying to build a business. That's what I'm in the middle of right now. So there was a long season where, I'm not saying just being a stay-at-home mom, because I think that's a really big job. I don't think anybody should say I'm just a mom, because that is one of the most sacred roles that God is called women to be. It's also one of the most exhausting and time-consuming. And I think women start their day off running and they get to the end of the day and they're just falling down exhausted. Now, I'm not saying men don't do that too, but I'm sitting here talking about my story and relating to women and moms. So we do understand those seasons of our life that get so busy, especially when you have a new baby or you have a toddler and you're running after that toddler. So there might be times that God transitions you, just like our children transition out of different seasons of their life. God will transition us from different seasons into our life as we grow spiritually and mentally. As he takes us into the next season, it can feel very exhausting, even if it's a good thing that he's doing. So not everything is bad when you're exhausted. Sometimes it's good exhaustion because you're building something new. You're creating something. Let's say you're building a house and you're doing a lot of the renovations yourself. That is very difficult work. You spend long hours doing that. Or maybe you're building a business inside, like a restaurant, and you're spending a lot of time creating everything inside the atmosphere so that it's just perfect for your guests to arrive, and it's going to produce something good. But you're still tired at the end of the day when you get home. It's not that you were in negative stress. You were just tired at the end of the day. So we could have negative stress and we can have positive stress, but both of those things require rest. So as I'm going through this new season that God is taking me down, if I found myself feeling again that I'm just so tired all the time. That's how I felt yesterday. Although I had a lot on my to-do list, I just felt like at the end of the day, I just needed to unplug from everything and just sit down and watch a movie with my husband. And I did. And we had a great time. It was a great movie. I felt refreshed. And then I woke up and got right back to what I had to do this morning. But God really impressed upon my heart that don't take the rest lightly. It is something that is biblical. It is something that is required of us. It is not something that is optional. If we want to thrive in our bodies, we have to rest. Even if you're somebody who is a bodybuilder, you spoke to anybody that understands how you build muscles, there are times that you need them to rest. You break down the muscle when you are working out, but then you've got to let it rest so that it can rebuild. It's the same thing with our mental health. Sometimes we just got to take a break from everything that we're dealing with. Spiritual health. Sometimes God just says, rest in me. Sometimes he doesn't want you studying your Bible and reading your Bible and praying and interceding and all of that. He's like, as I said before, be still. Just be still and know that I am God. So that's kind of really where I felt like God was leading me this morning, is that sometimes I'm striving so much to be better or do the next thing. Or I'm focusing so much on the issue that's at hand, whether it's a problem or whether it's something that is good that I'm trying to figure out how to take the next step on. And I really felt him just saying, rest. You need to rest. The reason why you're striving right now is because you haven't rested enough. Your body is tired, your mind is tired, and your spirit's going to get tired. When your spirit is tired and you haven't taken that time to just rest and be with God, it can affect every single area of your life. So I want to encourage you, if you are going through a transition right now, there's going to be a season where you need to rest before God really does launch the next thing. If you're a mom and you're in that season where you've got a baby, a brand new baby, rest is so important. This is one of the things I didn't really learn when I was raising my kids when they were babies, is that I tried to get as much done as I possibly could while they were sleeping. If I could do it all over again, I would have slept when they slept, and I would have just let the house be messy. Eventually, it would have gotten cleaned up. Or maybe would have asked for more help. I probably should have done that more than trying to, take on that responsibility and do it all by myself. And then there's seasons where you're raising your kids and they're active. My best friend, who is the host of my podcast, the Junk Drawer Mama, she's got 12 kids. She's a foster mom and she's adopted 8 of those kids. Okay. And so she is very busy with appointments and activities that the kids have. And she gets to the end of the day and she's tired. So you might be in that season where you got a lot of activities and a lot of kids and you're going from here to there and you feel like the taxi driver and you're trying to, do all the different scheduling of your household. Sometimes you could just be tired because you're thinking about a situation that hasn't happened yet. That's really what I'm in right now. I'm just thinking about what's it going to look like when God finally brings this thing that he's promised me to pass, or when the business is finally built, or honestly, when the things I've been praying about for my family, when they finally come to fruition, what's that going to be like? So you're thinking about it, you're pondering it. That can be just as exhausting as the example I just explained, where the mom is running around trying to meet all the appointments and all the activities of the kids. Your mind can be, so busy that you feel exhausted. So there's times where you need to rest. If you are a special needs mom or a mom navigating extreme, complex circumstances, rest is so important. Getting help is so important as well. Whatever you have to do, even if it's just for a few minutes so that you can recoup, and regenerate yourself. Maybe you do have to do that after the kids go to sleep. A lot of times, like I just explained, my friend Christina, a lot of times she has to wait till her kids go to bed where she can finally take a hot bath or spend some time with her husband or just get away with God, whatever that is. Or maybe you got to get up really early before the kids all wake up and start the whole mom. You got to get away in the morning, early in the morning. The scripture talks about getting away early in the morning in the secret place with God so that you can set the tone of your day. But even in that morning time, you might just need to rest at his feet. There's a story in the Bible talk about Martha and Mary, and they were sisters. I'm definitely a Martha. I'm one of those people that is busy doing things. I'm preparing. If I have company over an event, I'm always the one doing the behind the scenes, getting everything prepared. My husband is more like Mary. He's more like just sitting and talking and, having conversation and enjoying their company. And I used to get really upset by that because I was like, isn't anyone going to help me? So it reminded me of the whole situation in the story of Martha and Mary, where Jesus is there and the disciples are there and they're at Mary's house and she's busy preparing the food and everything. And Mary's sitting at his feet. And she's upset, and she's actually upset with Jesus because she said, I'm busy over here doing this, and my sister's just sitting at your feet. Can you tell her to help me, or can you tell her to do something? And Jesus just says to her, Martha, you are worried with so many things, but Mary is the one that has chosen the better thing. Mary has chosen to rest at Jesus' feet and just listen. So sometimes we do have to put all the busyness aside and just rest. In your morning time, it doesn't always have to be deep Bible study and all this stuff. It could just be resting and quietness and stillness, being still and knowing that he's God. He's going to work all things out. So whether it's in the morning time or evening time or whatever that is, just like I had to sit last night and just watch a movie and not worry about anything. We grabbed dinner when I was out doing grocery shopping, and I decided not to cook. I didn't want to waste any time spending time cooking and cleaning. I just grabbed something and we sat down and watched a movie. And it felt really good to do that. And I haven't done that in a very long time, to the point where my husband even said, yeah, it's been a long time since you've been down here. Our rec room is in our basement. My office is way at the top of the house, and his office is in our basement. So a lot of times we're like two ships passing in the night. He's busy working and I'm busy working. And sometimes poor little Gracie is kind of lost in the shuffle. We got to remember to slow down, spend time with our loved ones. But it's really important, in order for you to even do that, you've got to spend time by yourself, spend time with God, spend time resting and not striving. That's the most important thing. At that moment, like Mary, that's the most important thing. Even if you have a huge to-do list or a mess in the house or dishes piled to the ceiling, sometimes you just got to rest. And it is okay that things around you are not done or you didn't check off everything on your to-do list. It's when you rest and rejuvenate, then you can finally be able to come back to that to-do list and really do it with more clarity. So I'm finding that in this season of busyness and content creation and building my business, that I am finding that I have to really create those pockets of time for rest. Otherwise, I'm going to get burnt out. I did that when I was running our youth outreach. I never slowed down long enough to even take a breath. I used to describe it like I was treading water in the deep end of the ocean, and I would just come up for air and just breathe, take a gulp, and then I would go back down. I was, struggling to stay afloat. I don't want to do that again. Not is that not good for me. It's not good for my family. It's certainly not good for the ministry or the business you're trying to grow, because you're giving the depleted version of yourself, not the fully energized, creative version of yourself. So I want to leave you with a few scriptures, and just to give you truth. Now, when I looked up the scriptures on rest, there's lots and lots and lots of them. So if you are in that season, I would encourage you to do your own study on rest and find those scriptures that really speak to your heart, and read those and meditate them, even memorize them. The one that I said, be still and know, is one of my favorites, and I have to remind myself that I don't have to have it all figured out. God is the one fighting for me. I don't need to figure it out. I just need to be still and rest and know that he is God. So anyway, Hebrews 4, 10 through 11, this is in the Amplified Version. It says, "For the one who has once entered his rest has also rested from the weariness and the pain of his human labors, just as God rested from his own." So God rested, which means he's telling us that we also need to rest. "Let us therefore make every effort to enter that rest of God, to know and experience it for ourselves, so that no one will fall by following the same example of disobedience." It's actually disobedient to not rest. God commands us to rest. Isaiah 26:3, and I like this in the Complete Jewish Bible. I don't usually read that one, but this is the one that I chose because it uses the word rest. "A person who desires rest on you, you preserve in perfect peace because he trusts in you." What it means is a person who desires rest on you, meaning who trusts and abides in you, meaning God will preserve peace. And then in Matthew 11:29 through 30, this is one that I share often on this channel. "Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and my burden I give you is light." When we allow God to be equally yoked with us, and he's the one guiding us, then the burden is light. His yoke is light. It's easy because he's the one that's doing it. We're not striving and trying to do that on our own. So I want to leave you with that. If you need to go rest, rest. If you need to disconnect from social media, including this channel, disconnect. Go rest. Just listen to worship music. Find that peace and quiet in your soul again. Just like we said in the beginning, when you're physically tired, you've got to rest. You've got to rest those muscles. You've got to rest your body. You have to rest your mind from thinking about all the problems all the time. And then you've got to rest spiritually. God is not asking us to strive spiritually, even though we are seeking to try to be the best version of ourselves, and we are diligently seeking him. He does want us to just rest in him too. It's not always about learning everything that we could possibly learn about God. Sometimes we learn in the stillness and the quietness of returning back to him, just at his feet like Mary. So I hope this encourages you. It definitely encouraged me today, and I will take the time to rest. So have an awesome day. Remember, the creator of the universe loves you, and I love you, and I can't wait for us to be back together again. Bye.